Hey YouTube, Kira Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Crystal Beast Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile for post Legend of the Crystal Beasts. This was the release of the latest Yu-Gi-Oh structure deck, which gave us a bunch of new support for the Crystal Beast archetype, making it definitely a lot more consistent with its playstyle, including a new fusion monster, Ultimate Crystal Rainbow Dragon Overdrive, one that can hit a whopping attack points of over 10,000 if played correctly, and also just being able to special summon back all your Crystal Beast monsters to then do the play all over again. It's a really awesome deck. I love the new support we got. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the main deck for the Crystal Beast monsters. I am running 3 Crystal Beasts Sapphire Pegasus. This is definitely one of your go-to cards in the deck, just because when it's normal or flip summon or special summon, you can place one Crystal Beast monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard face up in your spell and trap card zone, and the Crystal Beasts all focus on setting up in the spell and trap card zone face up as spell cards to use for many different card effects, including just to summon out your main go-to boss monster, which is the Rainbow Dragon, needing all 7 of the Crystal Beasts either in the graveyard or somewhere on the field. So just having 3 Sapphire Pegasus gives you more of the speed and pace to do that in this deck. With the other Crystal Beast monsters, we're only running 1 copy of each. I thought about maybe upping the count of Ruby Carbuncle. If you were to do that, it would be just for some spots if you don't have some of the particular cards for this deck profile. But 1 Ruby Carbuncle, 1 Amethyst Cat, 1 Cobalt Eagle, 1 Amber Mammoth, along with 1 Topaz Tiger, and 1 Emerald Tortoise. I just find this to be the best variety of cards to use, because along with the 7 original Crystal Beasts, we do have 1 new monster that also counts as a Crystal Beast monster. So in the chance that one of these cards is banished by your opponent, you still have that 1 extra resource to use. But each one having their own unique effects. They don't really do much aside from Ruby Carbuncle being able to special summon them all back when it itself is special summon. They all just have, like kind of a mix mash of different card effects that you can use if the particular situation comes up. But some of the more important cards fall into the category of the new one, which is Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon. With this one, it was released in the Ghost from the Past set, but was also released recently in the new structure deck. If a face-up card is destroyed in a monster zone, you can place it face-up in your spell and trap card zone as a continuous spell. So with that, you have the option of it just being like a Crystal Beast monster, and you can only use each of the following effects of Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon once per turn. When an attack is involving a Crystal Beast monster, you can special summon this card from your hand, and you can banish this card when it's treated as a continuous spell to special summon 1 level 4 lower Crystal Beast monster from your deck, but negate its effects. And if you do, add 1 Ultimate Crystal monster from your deck to your hand. So the Ultimate Crystal monster will be your next go-to monster, which is the Rainbow Dragon, which we're also running 2 copies of this card, since it's always treated as an Ultimate Crystal card. And this is just your go-to boss monster for the main deck when you're not using one of your extra deck monsters. Just having this card as the resource to summon out. With all of our many different Crystal Beast monsters, you have this, and then another answer to summon out some of your other fusion monsters by even just tributing it out after it's been summoned properly to summon out cards like Rainbow Overdragon. But the big play will be you summoning the new monster, which is the Ultimate Crystal Rainbow Dragon Overdrive, having a much more powerful effect to use against your opponent. With the other crystal monsters that we run, I'm just running 2 Crystal Master. It's the only pendulum card I run. You don't really use it for the pendulum summon, obviously, since it's our only pendulum card. You use it for the tribute effect to add 1 Ultimate Crystal Monster, Crystal Beast Monster, or Crystal Beast Spell or Trap from your deck to your hand. So it's just a searcher, and a very good searcher at that, because then it lets you set up those cards you want to go for. And it does have the option in the pendulum scale where your opponent cannot target Ultimate Crystal Monsters or Crystal Beast cards you control with card effects, but you really don't want to take up spell and trap card zone space in this deck, so you're mostly just going to use it for the tribute monster effect. And then the last of the main deck monsters is just 3 Ash Blossom and Joy Spring. It's definitely a hand trap of choice to use, and also more readily available in the structure deck. So if you're looking for a playset and you pick up 3 of these, you'll have this to use as well for that hand trap spot. That is it for the main deck monsters. Like I said, there was no new main deck monsters to really utilize. The new support came in the form of the new extra deck monster and the new spell or traps. For the spells, we're running 3 copies of Rainbow Bridge of the Heart. This continuous spell during your main phase, you can normal summon 1 Crystal Beast monster in addition to your normal summoner set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. You can only use each of the following effects of Rainbow Bridge of Heart once per turn. During the main phase, you can destroy 1 Crystal Beast card you control or in your hand. If you do add 1 Crystal Beast spell or trap from your deck to your hand. So it says Crystal, so remember that. So we have a different amount of cards that just say Crystal in their name. And then if a Crystal Beast card is placed in your spell and trap card zone, even during the damage step, you can target one card your opponent controls, return both that card and this card to the hand, making it so you can free up space with your spell and trap card zone thanks to this card, and also being able to just return pesky cards your opponent may have on the field back to their hand because of it. But the double normal summon just helps because then you can use cards like Sapphire Pegasus twice per turn, setting up 2 Crystal Beasts in your spell and trap card zone because Sapphire Pegasus is not a once per turn. And I also run 3 copies of Awakening of the Ultimate Crystals. You reveal 1 Ultimate Crystal monster in your hand, then activate one of these effects. If you control an Ultimate Crystal monster, you can activate 1 or 2 of these effects in sequence instead of this. And also, you do not have to reveal a monster. You can take 1 Rainbow Bridge or 1 Rainbow Refraction from your deck and either add to your hand or send it to the graveyard. So the search for the Rainbow Bridge, which then just says you can add 1 Crystal Spell or Trap from your deck to your hand, is just more and more search because of this card. And also, you can special summon 1 Crystal Beast monster card from your hand, deck, or graveyard, or spell and trap card zone, giving you a resource to summon out cards like your Ruby Carbuncle back onto the field, to then special summon all the other Crystal Beast monsters you may have set up in your spell and trap card zone. So this is just another searcher, so a definite 3 of, to just have search upon search, and then all you need to do is have 1 of your ultimate crystal monsters on the field as well, which can be easily done in this deck with just how much of an easy setup you have thanks to the new spells. I also run the 3 Rainbow Bridge along with being searchable off of Awakening of the Crystal Ultimates. It just says add 1 Crystal Spell or Trap from your deck to your hand. It's not a once per turn, so if you open up multiple Rainbow Bridges, you have access to many of the 1-ofs that we run in the deck as well, with one of the other 3-ofs, though, that we run being Crystal Bond. You add 1 Crystal Beast monster from your deck to your hand and place 1 Crystal Beast monster with a different name from your deck face up in your spell and trap card zone as a continuous spell. You go activate 1 Crystal Bond per turn. So along with the potential add of a Sapphire Pegasus, which then if you have the other spell set up on the field, giving you an additional normal summon, you have the setup of a 3rd one in your spell and trap card zone. So that's 2 placed with Sapphire Pegasus and then 1 from this card. So that could be more than half of the needed Crystal Beast monsters for you to get out your ultimate crystal monster. For some of the 1-ofs that I run, I also run 1 Crystal Beacon. You special summon 1 Crystal Beast monster from your deck. You must have 2 or more Crystal Beast cards in your spell and trap card zone to activate and resolve this effect. Just another Crystal Searcher along with Crystal Promise for the special summon of a Crystal Beast monster from your spell and trap card zone. So both just being special summon access for your many different cards. And 1 Ancient City Rainbow Ruins for the new trap that we are running with the additional option of having those Crystal Beast cards on the field. This trap can also search it out and set it up for you to use. Now, for the last of the spells that I run in the main deck, I do have 3 Forbidden Droplet. This card was made readily available in the newest Megaton. I know it's a little bit more pricey still, but it really is useful because your spell and trap card zone will fill up very quickly with Crystal Beast cards. So using Forbidden Droplet to at least use those as a resource to stop your opponent's monster effects and send them into the graveyard where they can still be used for the ultimate crystal summon is very, very useful, because then you can free up your spell and trap card zone for some other important cards you may use, or even just take care of some continuous spells that are just remaining on the field that you can't get rid of to send to the graveyard to stop one of your opponent's cards. If you don't have this card, you can try some of the other trap options like Crystal Regeki, or even put in some additional copies of Crystal Beacon and Crystal Promise, or this can even be a spot where you increase the number of cards like your Ruby Carbuncle in the deck by taking this card out. And that is it for these spells. Moving on now to the traps. I run 2 copies of Crystal Miracle. When a spell or trap or monster effect is activated, destroy 1 Crystal Beast card you control. And if you do, negate that activation. If you do, destroy that card. And if a Crystal Beast card is placed in your spell or trap card zone while it's in your graveyard, even during the damage step, you can banish this card to place 1 Crystal Beast monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard face up in your spell and trap card zone as a continuous spell card. So it's also reset power. I like running 2 of it, so you at least have the double negation option. It also has Crystal in its card name, so it can be searched off of Rainbow Bridge. Being able to search out a counter trap for the Crystal Beast deck is insane. It just adds so much protection for your back row or any of your monsters you may have on the field. I even considered running it at 3. If you were to do so, you can try taking out the Rainbow Bridge of Salvation. It's a new card from the Megaton. If there are 2 or more different named monster types among the level 10 or higher monsters on the field, shuffle all cards except this one from both players' hands, fields, and graveyards into the deck. Then each player draws 5 cards, and you can banish this card from your graveyard to add 1 Crystal Beast monster and 1 field spell from your deck to your hand. So this is just like a reset button of the Rainbow Dragon by having it already on the field to activate in response to your opponent, but still being able to get the field spell search and one other additional Crystal Beast monster. I like it. It just gives you that additional plus in action against your opponent if they were to try and stop one of your monster effects. With the other trap that I run in the deck just being one Crystal Conclave, along with the bounce power we have with Rainbow Bridge of Heart, you have this card as just another resource to use on the field, and then also just being able to have that monster of your opponent's not being issued anymore, because once per turn, if a face-up Crystal Beast monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon one from your deck as well, giving you more consistency. I only run one copy of it though, because once again, it can be searched off of cards like Rainbow Bridge, which themselves have a searcher being able to be added off of cards like Awakening of the Crystal Ultimates. And that is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the X deck. For the fusion monsters, I run 3 copies of Ultimate Crystal Rainbow Dragon Overdrive. It must be special summoned from your X deck during a duel that you special summoned an Ultimate Crystal monster by banishing the above monster materials. And then also with this card, while you control a Crystal Beast monster with different names are banished, this card gains 7,000 attack. And if this card is not battled this turn, you can then tribute this card to shuffle as many cards on the field as possible into the deck. And if you do special summon any number of your banished Crystal Beast monsters. So this is the resource I was talking about. You'll tribute it, get your Crystal Beast monsters back, and that's why I'm also running 3 copies of this card. So then you have at least another answer to potentially go into by banishing the needed material. But you do have to summon out the Rainbow Dragon properly with this card. But like I said, with some of the new cards we're running in the deck, it is very easy to accomplish this. But just such a boss monster if you don't already attack into your opponent with this card and win the game there. I also run the 1 Rainbow Overdragon. It can be another Ultimate Crystal monster for the summon, just using our 7 Crystal Beast monsters, and added back up to the Rainbow Overdrive if, you go up against just some of the other options, especially in the mirror match, depending on the playstyle you may want to go for. Just an added good backup for a 4th fusion monster. And for the Link monsters, I run 1 Cherubini Abon Angel of the Burning Abyss. Now, this is because we run a good number of level 3 monsters, and we do run some 1-ofs of the Crystal Beasts. So you just need 2 level 3 monsters, so potentially you could just get that 1 level 3 Crystal Beast monster you're missing and send it to the graveyard with this card, increasing Cherubini's own attack during the process. I also run 1 Barricade Board Blocker for the continuous spell and field spell Recycle, 1 IP Masquerena, 1 Underclock Taker, 1 Cross Sheep for the fusion plays and the potential Xyz plays, which we'll get to in just a bit. Also 1 Nightmare Phoenix, and for the Link 3, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, with the only Link 4 being Boral Sword Dragon, just as another boss monster to potentially go into. And for the Xyz monsters, 1 Baguska, 1 Abyss Dweller, and 1 Divine Arsenal Zeus. Just all added backups for going into cards in this deck, especially just making use of our Sapphire Pegasus, which are, level 4 monsters to overlay together, especially since we can do the additional normal summon play with our Rainbow Bridge of Heart if we don't have the Rainbow Dragon play to go into immediately afterwards. As for some of the go-to plays, the search power is a big part of the deck, and making use of cards like Awakening of the Crystal Ultimates by revealing an Ultimate Crystal monster in your hand. So you want to search for that Rainbow Dragon as quickly as possible to make this card search viable as well. You either have the option for the search and setup with the normal summon of your Rainbow Bridge of Heart as well, but with Rainbow Dragon in your hand being a vital part of the play, or on the field once again, because then you don't have to reveal the card with the Awakening of the Ultimate Crystal. You can either just tribute Crystal Master and then add the Rainbow Dragon to your hand. Then you have the reveal for your Awakening of the Ultimate Crystals to activate and take a Rainbow Bridge and then add it from your deck to your hand. And with this card with the reveal, if you control it, you can activate 1 or 2, but if you don't control it, you'll just get the 1 effect you want. So you can either have that or special summon a Crystal Beast monster from your hand, deck, or spell and trap card zone. So then you'll either have the option to search for the Rainbow Bridge if it's already in your hand. You'll want to go for the special summon play of your Sapphire Pegasus, because then you'll be able to set another Crystal Beast off of the Sapphire Pegasus in the spell and trap card zone. And then from there, you'll either have the option to activate the the Rainbow Bridge that was in your hand already to begin with, adding a crystal spell from your deck to your hand. And with that spell, you could potentially add the negation to stop your opponent, or even one of the other options being your your Crystal Bond, which then if you activate this, you can add another Crystal Beast monster from your deck to your hand and place one in your spell and trap card zone. So you could add a Sapphire Pegasus to your hand and actually normal summon that if you had the Rainbow Bridge of Heart in your hand to resolve as well, giving you that normal summon. And along with the additional card you place with Crystal Bond, you would have your Amber Mammoth or any of them along with the additional one you place with Sapphire Pegasus, making the trap setup you have with Crystal Miracle all the better as well. The setup will definitely just come down to what plays you can use, but also just being able to have the bounce power to add the Rainbow Bridge of Heart and return one of your opponent's monster will definitely go for more of a control play style until you can set up and summon out your Rainbow Dragon, which then having all the Crystal Beast monsters in the graveyard to lose, along with the ultimate Crystal Monster to banish with your Rainbow Dragon Overdrive to summon on the field and then potentially hit into your opponent for 11,000 points of damage. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Like I said, I was definitely happy with the new release of the new support for the Crystal Beast and definitely will make for an awesome deck for sure for those of you that are Crystal Beast fans. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Twig out.